And you know what the craziest thing is? The capital gains tax yields no revenue when you raise it. You lose money when you raise it. All 3 times when they've raised it, they've gotten less money at the higher rate than at the lower rate. Because people say, well, at 15%, I'll sell this stock. 15%, I'll sell this house. I'll sell this real estate. Because the government's only going to get 15% of it. But at 25%, I don't want to. I don't want to give the government 25%. I'm going to hold on to it. So that when you lower this tax, your revenues go up, and when you raise this tax, your revenues go down, and that genius in the White House is raising it anyway. So what we're confronted with is a set of policies that guarantee that nobody spends money and guarantee that nobody invests money in their own factory, at least if they're not very young and healthy. And what about banks? They're going to lend us money to create jobs? Well, I hope so, and maybe there's a Jobs or a Dell or a Gates somewhere in a garage who's coming up with the next generation technology, but I'm sorry, he's not going to get a loan. Because the federal government is telling the banks in the financial regulation bill, if you make a loan and it goes bad, it's not repaid, then I'm going to say that you are an imprudent lender. And I'm going to close the bank down, I'm going to fire you, I'm going to fire your staff, I'm going to replace your board of directors, I'm going to wipe out the shareholders' equity, which is your pension, your 401k, your stock bonuses, and I'm going to sell off units of your bank. But please, make loans. Take risks. When you tell a banker to be cautious, it's like telling a cab driver in New York City to hurry. You know, those banks have columns and an edifice and a portico, but they're not banks anymore, they're mausoleums. Because of the federal regulation that has terrified them against making loans. So you can't get a loan to start a business. You can't reinvest the business money from your profits because of the inheritance tax. There is no consumer demand because of the taxation. And what sector is going to create jobs? The healthcare sector, 16% of our economy? Are you kidding me? Somebody's going to actually buy a CAT scan or an MRI and open up a radiology wing and hire a bunch of staff and incur a bunch of overhead, when next year they're going to slice the reimbursement rate on Medicare and you're never going to get your money out? You got to be kidding. They're not going to do that. So healthcare, which was one of the huge growth sectors in our economy, 16% of our economy isn't creating any jobs at all because of the threat of federal regulation. Manufacturing, are you going to open a new manufacturing facility or a new product line when cap and trade is coming down the pike? And they're going to tax the energy that you use? They're going to tax the automation? I was just talking with a gentleman who runs a major industrial company in Wisconsin, employs about 120 workers. And he was saying that the way automation works is that you replace having to hire extra people with using extra energy. And you can protect your jobs against foreign competition because of the energy that you use. You take one guy and the thing comes to him and it's automated and it moves away and it's automated and so on. But if you're going to tax energy, you're going to force that company to move offshore. This hypocrite who campaigned in Wisconsin and said he wanted to stop jobs from going overseas is going to drive them overseas with his cap and trade bill, and he knows it. And he's going to invest in the energy industry when he's going to tax oil and he wants to drive coal out of business. You're not going to do that. So you're not going to invest in anything. You're not going to buy anything. You're not going to reinvest your profits. You can't get a loan, not because of the recession, but because of Barack Hussein Obama. And just imagine what's going to happen when, not if, but when we take the House and the Senate. Yes, we will. what's going to happen is we're going to defund his health care bill. Defund it. Zero. Elton John once said, too low for zero. That'll be his health care bill. You know that neat organization chart of all the new agencies and stuff? He can have them. He can get furniture in them because the government owns it. He can put him in an office because the government owns it. He can make an appointment to the office, but I hope none of those folks want to get paid. And they can have all the internet calls they want, the intercom calls they want, but I hope none of them make any outgoing phone calls, because we are zero funding that. And when the first round of Medicare cuts come in, where congressional approval is required, we are going to say, hell no. And that's going to open up the healthcare industry for new investment, for new job creation, for new economic growth. We're going to give America a message. We're not going to pass cap and trade. And all of a sudden, manufacturers can expand. They can do it without the sword of Damocles hanging over their head. American manufacturing cut a huge break 3 years ago when energy prices went way up, because all of a sudden it cost more to ship the goods in from China than the wage differential between an American and a Chinese worker. Cap and trade would eliminate that, but once that's gone, hey, we'll be able to expand manufacturing jobs. And we're going to be able to expand energy jobs because we're not going to tax coal and we're not going to tax oil. And you'll see more energy jobs coming in. And we're going to repeal the onerous aspects of that financial regulation bill. We'll leave the stuff on derivatives and all this Wall Street gambling, but we're not going to use the federal bureaucracy to terrorize our bankers and stop them from making any loans in their community. The Republican Congress is going to make clear to the president and to the nation, no more taxes. We're going to bring down the deficit, but we're going to bring it down by cutting spending, not by raising taxes. And the issue here isn't just money out of your wallet. It's, first of all, it doesn't work to raise taxes. When you raise them, you mess up your economy, and it doesn't bring in the revenues you think it will. And then because the economy slows down, unemployment goes up, unemployment insurance, Medicare, welfare, food stamps, so you end up spending all of the money you thought you were saving. You don't get it in, and you start spending it out. Doesn't work. That's the kind of death spiral that Wisconsin has been in with its policies. We're not going to let America go that way. Now, let me tell you about Election Day. I just came from Maryland, Wisconsin, where the Black River had just flooded. Those poor folks got 6.5 inches of rain in one day. And I told those brave folks that if you think the Black River flood is a lot, you wait for the tsunami on November 2nd. We have about 40 days and 40 nights until Election Day for it to rain on Russ Feingold's head. For it to rain on Steve Kagan's head. For it to rain on Barrett's head.